I'm the entertainer.
And I'm Simeon Russell.
And we're talking New York sports.
Let's go. So, entertainer, how was your trip to Vegas?
I mean, it was Vegas. It was terrific. You had your women, you had your gambling, you had your sports. I mean, what's not to like?
Yeah, you see how he's general, right? Because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So he's keeping it light for us, keeping it PG-13.
It's a kid's show. You know, this guy, little kid. What's the name of that kid that always calls in your show? I can't have him sit, Oscar. Yeah, I can't have him, hearing what I'm talking about and, what happened in Vegas.
Yeah, I hear you. So,
how was your, of course you had your 3 shows this week. What else did you have going on?
I've been working on the side projects, taking my time with them. I'm not trying to rush them. I want to make sure that they're right. So I'm taking my time with some of these side projects. Other than that, just plugging away, working along. You went to the Giants and Jets game, though. How was that?
I'm actually really looking forward to your side project. I think it's going to come out great. The Giants and Jets game was a lot of fun. I actually met up with Jet Central. He flew all the way in from Florida to watch the game with me. It was blast. Great kid. And it was a great game. I'm sure we're going to get into that as as we start talking sports.
Okay. Well, hey, let's get into it then. We might as well jump right into it right now.
Let's get it popping.
Giants, Jets, or Jets Giants if you're a Jets fan. You were at the game, a preseason tradition in New York. What you think?
The Snoopy Bowl. I was at the game in Jersey. Made my way down there. I try to stay out of there unless I'm watching a football game for the most part. I'm a New Yorker, but no, I had a great time. I actually caught the game with Jet Central, huge Jet fan, and we were talking. We were talking about what the Jets did good in that game. They did a lot of good things. Darnold, I think, is going to take over that starter's job. Usually, the guy who starts the third preseason game is going to be the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year. So Darnold looked really good. He made a bunch of safe throws. He didn't make any 25, 30-yard throws down the field, but for the most part, he looked like an efficient quarterback. So you got to like what you see there if you're a Jet fan.
Definitely. And, I thought Sam Darnold was going to come off the bench, or not come off the bench, but, be the second-string quarterback to begin the season. But it looks like you're right. Looks like he won that starting position, and he's going to be the starter come the season opener, which I feel like this. If you're a rookie of his stature, you might as well put him out there and let him do what he's got to do. You know what I mean? What he's saving for. I do understand it's, he's coming into the NFL, but if he can handle it, let him get out there and play, man,
Yeah, that's what it looks like is going to happen. And Bridgewater's played great, too. Bridgewater had another really good game. I think he was 11 for 15. He's been very efficient, too, at the quarterback position. The one thing I will say, though, if I was the Jets, you could get something for Bridgewater, and there's no point in keeping him on this team if Donald's going to be the starter. Because there's probably at least 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams that he could start for in the league. So if you get a second-round pick for him, they just gave up 3 seconds to acquire Donald in the draft. So if they get a second-round pick for Bridgewater, I would probably jump on that, and I think they probably can.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that. I know you talked about that in one of our earlier shows, so that's look for it. That could happen. Look for it. Now, Sam Darnold had his way. I don't know if you want to say totally had his way, but kind of had his way against the Giants' defense.
Yeah, Darnold made a bunch. He made one throw. I mean, from where I was sitting, I didn't see it on TV. He made one throw that was a head scratcher. I thought it was going to be picked off by the defensive end. But other than that, he played exceptional, in my opinion, for a rookie quarterback in a third preseason game. We'll see what he does in the regular season, but you could clearly see that he's got a lot of potential.
Yeah. Are you worried about the Giants' defense at all? I know I'm definitely concerned about the secondary. The run defense, it looked good the first 2 preseason games. Maybe it didn't look as good, versus the Jets. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if it was the Jets exceeded what they usually do or the Giants did worse than what they usually do, but the Jets were able to ground and pound on the Giants, the first team offenses. As the game went along, but what I care about as a fan is the first team. And the Jets were running all over the Giants the first 2 drives, 7, 8, 9 yards every time they touched the ball.
And that's surprising because, Snacks usually gobbles people up down in there. You know what I
mean? Yeah. He's versing his ex-team. Maybe he did him a couple of favors. I don't know.
Right. You never know. And then, of course, we got a secondary. I'm concerned about Eli Apple's ability to replace DRC. We need Eli Apple to step up. He's got to step up this season if if we're not going to have teams throwing all over us all over the place, he's got to step up. And I'm not sure if he can.
Yeah, Eli Apple had huge expectations coming into and I hated the pick. I'll tell you that right now. It's easy to say that now, but when they made the pick, I hated it because at the time they had a pretty strong secondary when they made the pick, and I thought they needed more help at the offensive line. Tunsil was out there, who was supposed to be like the first overall pick in that draft, and I don't know if you remember, he came out with the picture of him smoking the marijuana with the bomb on his face, whatever it was.
I remember that.
Yeah, and he dropped like 10, 11, 12 spots, and the Giants had the opportunity to take him. He's been a decent offensive lineman at the pro level, but that was the guy I wanted them to take and Apple's been awful out of Ohio State. This is a huge year for him. He's an X factor on this defense. They need him to at least be an average cornerback this year.
Yeah, well, so the third preseason game is done. That's usually the dress rehearsal for the season. I don't know, honestly, for the Giants, I'm not exactly sure what to expect come week 1, or for the Jets.
Yeah.
We don't know what to expect.
Yeah, well, with the Giants, we haven't really gotten to see what they have to offer on offense yet because Beckham hasn't played. Barkley only played 6 plays his first game, so we haven't seen the puppies together. So, you figure, once those two come together, I really think it's going to be dynamic. It's just if the O-line can hold up. Omame blocked horribly in the third game. The run blocking, him in particular, they did a horrible job in week 3, so they need them to step up.
Yeah, and well, Eli looked pretty good. So let's why don't we get into a little bit of season preview or week 1 preview with the Giants and the Jets. Let's go.
So Sim, the Giants got a very tough opponent week 1 at the home opener. How do you think they're going to do? Jacksonville Jaguars, they were this close to going to the Super Bowl last year.
I'm telling you, it's an early test to see how we respond. I'm not going to lie to you. Looking at our offense or who we have on offense, I have some lofty expectations for the Giants. So this is an early test. We're talking about a team. Number 1, you got Tom Coughlin. So you got the whole Tom Coughlin thing that's going to be looming over the game, right? You're playing a team that is, what were they? The top running team in the league last year, or towards the top?
Up there, and the best defense.
And the best defense. So, we were just talking about the Giants' run defense versus the Jets. It's definitely going to come into play against the Jaguars. You know what I'm saying? And then we still have questions about the offensive line. We got to keep Eli standing upright.
That's a huge test week 1 for that offensive line. You got that right.
Yeah.
And Fournette, I think Fournette's going to even be better this year at the running back position. So the Jaguars are definitely a tough test week 1. The Giants really and they got, in my opinion, they got to split one of those first 2 games. Where it's at Dallas week 2 and the Jaguars home week 1. They got to split one of those 2 games.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're talking about, obviously, like we just said, the Jaguars is a tough team to play. The Cowboys are always going to be a tough team to play because it's a division rival. We've got a history of going into Dallas and winning, that first game of the season a lot of times. And, they don't want that to happen. So it's going to be tough, and we can't afford to go 0-2.
Well, you remember when they first opened that new stadium with their huge scoreboard, that obnoxious stadium. Eli went in there. They beat him the first game they ever played there, and he put his signature on the stadium. So I'm hoping Eli puts another signature on the stadium. I think he will, because Eli looked great week 3 in the preseason against the Jets.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, the first half of the season for the Giants is tough. We play 5 playoff teams, from last year, and we played 3 division rivals.
Yeah,
that's a brutal schedule.
And the 3 teams that didn't make the playoffs are good teams. The Texans got Deshaun Watson back, who's one of the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the league. And who else? Who's the other the Redskins, like you said, divisional opponent. They're always tough. Mm-hmm. So it's just a beast of a schedule.
It's a crazy schedule. We play, and I'm gonna look down for a second so I can make sure I got this right. We play the Jaguars week 1, Cowboys week 2, Texans week 3. We play the Saints, we play the Panthers, we play the Eagles, we play the Falcons, then we play the Redskins. That's a tough schedule.
The only tough team in the NFC you're not hitting there is the Vikings. Luckily, they missed them. But other than that, I mean, That is brutal.
It's brutal. And, I mean, if we don't want to be knocked out of the playoffs within the first 4 weeks, you're right. I think we got to go 500. We've got to go 500 in that 8-game stretch.
4-4, and it's going to be tough. And the second half is not easy, but it's much easier. But the good news is all these other teams got to play the same teams, right? Because they all play the same division. So I think everybody's going to beat up on one another this year.
Right. So, but who are the wins there for the Giants? If we're saying the Giants got to go 4-4 in those first 8 games, who are the wins? Cowboys, hopefully the Jaguars. I'm not saying we cannot beat the Jaguars, but the definite wins, if there are definite wins, hopefully the Cowboys, the Redskins, the Texans.
There's no definite wins in those first 8 games, in my opinion. There's games that I think they should win. They gotta find a way. Those first 2 games they gotta split because you can't get off to an 0-2 start.
Right.
And I think they gotta find a way to win the Redskins. I think they gotta sweep the Redskins this year if they want to make the playoffs. There's no doubt about it. Okay. I think they're a much better football team. I know it's a divisional opponent, but they gotta win both those games. And then they gotta find a way to win a couple of these games. They gotta win 2 or 3 of those games. Yeah. They gotta try to pick off I think they could beat the Texans. They won't be easy though because they're better than people think.
Right. And I shouldn't have said definite wins, but teams in that group that you think we should beat, it's gonna be tough. It's definitely going to be a tough way to start the season, but I believe in us. I think we're gonna do. I think they're gonna have a good year, and I think, like I said, because all these teams are playing great teams this year, I think 9-7 could win the division. I don't think this is gonna be a year like last year where the Eagles won 13 games. That's not gonna happen. The Eagles last year beat up on a soft schedule. Yeah, and when is the last time that we've had a division winner repeat in the NFC East?
2005.
Yeah, so, we know what it is.
History repeats itself.
Let's talk a little bit of Jets football and look at their season.
So they open up the year Monday Night Football. That's always exciting, right? Against Detroit in Detroit. Detroit last year had a suspect defense, so it's probably a good opponent for Darnold to open up against, and it's in a dome, so weather's not going to be a factor. So I'm excited to see that. What do you think, Sam? Yeah,
I mean, they were what? They had the 27th ranked defense last year. They were 9-7, knocking on the door to playoffs. This could be the perfect game for the Jets to start the season off. Like you said, Darnold's going to get to play against a defense that presumably is going to be weak. They were weak last year, so he could have a nice day. But it's a team that is also going to be competitive, right? So if you get a win against them, you can say, hey, this is a decent team that was knocking on the door to playoffs last year. They're usually around 9-7. Something like that. So it's a decent game for the Jets. I think it's a great game for the Jets. Great for Darnold. Great game for the Jets. And looking at their schedule. And by the way, the Lions have a new coach. We don't know how that's going to impact the team. Matt Patricia.
Yeah, Patricia. That was actually the guy I wanted the Giants to get when they were looking for coaches. He's under the Belichick umbrella, and everybody liked him. They said he's this genius. But I'm happy with how it turned out. I like Shermer a lot, but I think Patricia's got a lot of potential.
Yeah. The Jets, have a somewhat decent schedule. They could surprise some people. They played the Lions week 1, play the Dolphins week 2, play the Jets week 3.
Well, the Jets don't play the Jets week 3, son.
I mean, the Browns. Play the Browns week 3, right? Then you got the Jaguars, the Broncos, the Colts, the Vikings. Okay, so the Jaguars and the Vikings are 2 Super Bowl contending teams. You got the Bears, Dolphins against the Bills, of course the Patriots, the Titans, the Bills again, the Texans play the Packers. Then they play the Patriots again, but the Jets could sneak up on some people this year.
Jets got a pretty favorable schedule. I mean, part of the reason is their division. The Bills, I think, even though the Bills made the playoffs last year, which was crazy, I think they went 9-7, snuck into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I think they're taking a step back this year. They got the rookie quarterback now. They lost Tyrod Taylor. And I think everything broke right for them last year. I don't see that happening again. I think the Bills are a weak team. I think the Jets could beat up on them. I think they could potentially beat up on the Dolphins, who I think might be one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Right.
Like you said, they got the Browns on the schedule. The Bears aren't the strongest opponent. So they got some games there that they could steal. And if they could have a Steelers-Lions game, if you're a Jet fan and they win week 1, you got to start thinking they got a shot at the playoffs.
Exactly. So, if the Jets don't jet, then maybe, something, we can see something good happening in New York with the Giants and the Jets. Who knows?
I think the Jets, reasonable expectations if you're a Jet fan with that schedule, I think 8 wins. But I think if everything broke right, like it did for the Bills last year, maybe you get 9 or 10. Maybe you sneak into the playoffs.
So speaking of the NFL football season, we have our own season getting ready to start up. Fantasy Football League.
I can't wait for that. I actually have my fantasy draft today. It's a crazy league. I'm not going to get into it, but it's insane. I've been doing the same league for about 13 years. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the fantasy league we're going to have on here because I think it's going to help us connect with our viewers. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I have a draft coming up September 1st with a league that I've been in for about 5 years. I won the Super Bowl a couple of times. So I'm looking forward to doing this. We're going to stream it live. So if you haven't signed up to be in the league, sign up to be in the league. The description, the link will be in the description. You can sign up for the league. And we also have a pick'em that they can sign up to, right?
The pick'em's going to be a lot of fun too. But I got a question for you, Sam. I got the third pick today. The third pick in my fantasy league. Who would you take with the third pick?
Oh, wow. I like running backs. I like to go with running backs. I'm a homer. I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably taking Barkley. If I have the third pick, I'm probably taking Saquon Barkley if he's not gone.
I'm thinking about it. I mean, the experts say I shouldn't. The experts say he should go about 5th or 6th. But right. I'm considering it. I think Gurley's gonna go 1. That's most people's number 1. And probably Le'Veon Bell 2. So I'm probably looking at either David Johnson, Ezekiel Elliott, who I'll never take because he's a cowboy, or Saquon Barkley. Those are probably the 3 names I'm looking at there.
Yeah, and I know me, I would probably be taking Saquon. I know I would. I'd be taking him.
I might. I've been thinking I'm taking David Johnson, but I very well may take Saquon Barkley.
Can't argue with you if you take David Johnson, though.
Yeah, I mean, he had an all-world year 2 years ago before he got hurt. He was one of the best years of all time.
I remember one of the years that I won the Super Bowl in one of my leagues. I had David Johnson. It was before he had a breakout, though. It was before he broke out.
So it had to be. He's only been in the league now this is his 4th year, so it had to be his rookie year.
And I had him on my roster because I picked him up off of a waiver wire or whatever because he had a game. And I was like, oh, okay, let me try to. He had a good game. I said, well, let me pick him up. I got some space. I picked him up, and I had him for a couple of weeks, and he didn't really do anything. And then I waived him for someone. I don't remember. I waived him for someone, and then all of a sudden, boom, he exploded.
I remember that.
And I was like, what?
His last 2 or 3 weeks, he had like a 200-yard game or something crazy. I remember that.
Yeah, he exploded, and I was hot. I was heated. But I still won the Super Bowl, but I was still heated and I was always looking for ways, hoping that whoever picked him up, I forgot, would waive him, because he had a bad game or something. But he never had a bad game. He was killing it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this fantasy football league, and I love. What about Beckham? Where do you rank him this year at the receiver position?
Oh man, he's gonna rank high. I don't think because of injuries and people not sure, people know that he's going to come in and be electric. That, right? But I don't think I know. I drafted him one time. I think I was 5th. I think I drafted him 5th or something like that. I don't know if people are going to draft him that high this year because of the injury.
Yeah, I still think he's probably a first-round pick, late first-round pick.
Yeah,
I think most people probably going to have him about 2nd or 3rd at the wide receiver position. Mm-hmm. I don't want to give away too many secrets. We're going to have our draft on here. But
exactly, right.
But no, I'm really looking for. I love fantasy football. I know you do too. So it's gonna be fun. Dude, I hope a bunch of listeners join in on it.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be fun. Remember, the link is in the description. So, and the link is in the description, and the password is NBNY. All that information will be in the description. So sign up now. I think it's a 12-team league. Right.
The 12-team, 1-quarterback league, and right now the draft. I don't remember the time, but I set it up for September 2nd. But I could always change that. I don't think we've decided on the date yet.
Okay, yeah, and we're gonna stream the draft live And, those who are in the draft, maybe we'll figure out a way to let you guys call in. We can be on the phone or something like that while we're drafting so we can joke around, or we'll figure that out. We'll let you know what's going on. But just get into the league. Get into the league.
And the knockout pool, if it gets big enough, we got to get a lot of people in there. We've gotten a great response yet, but the knockout pool, we planned on doing a giveaway. So I'm hoping that happens. Exactly. I hope we get some subscribers over the channel. We can talk about the knockout pool every week, and we do a nice giveaway at the end of the year.
So, Entertainer, the last show, we caught some heat. Caught a little bit of heat because we talked Mets, and we gave the Yankees about 30 seconds. So let's give the Yankees a little bit of love, I guess.
I'll never give the Yankees love, but I will talk about the Yankees. Okay. The Bombers have had some tough luck this year. You got the Red Sox in first place. They got a 7-game lead, and the Yankees are on pace to win like 100 games. Everything has gone wrong for them in terms of that, right? Because they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're winning high 90s, upwards of 100 games this year. They're not going to win the division, most likely. And they've had a ton of injuries.
Yeah, a ton of injuries. The Yankees are 82-47 right now, 33 games left in this season. They're 7 games behind the Red Sox. But, and we'll get to the Yankees' injuries. The Red Sox are 4-6 in their last 10, kind of on a slide. The Yankees are 7-3 in the last 10. Is there a chance, if the Yankees can get healthy, is there a chance that they can make a run?
Yeah, the Yankees, like you said, have had a ton of injuries. Sanchez, Judge, Didi, and Chapman, the closer. So those are arguably 4 of their 5 most important players other than Stanton. Mm-hmm. And I kind of don't feel bad for them because it happens to the Mets every year. But, can they catch them? Yeah, because Boston seems to be fading a little bit. For them to catch them, though, they got to catch fire. What do they got, 33 games left? They got to probably win 25 of those, minimum.
Right, 33 games. So you're talking about them going 25-8, and the Red Sox maybe playing 500.
Yeah, well, yeah. What was that? There's 7 back, so I mean the Red Sox would go 18 and around 500.
Around 500 or something like that. I don't know if it's going to be possible, but hey, Yankees fans, you can dream, you can wish, and you can hope. At least you're going to be in the wild card.
Yeah, and it'll more likely be played at the Bronx because they got a pretty big lead on that second wild card team.
So right now, it looks like the Yankees will be playing Oakland. Oakland is 78-52. Houston is 79-50. So Oakland is like a game and a half behind them for the division.
If you're the Yankees, you better be hoping it's Oakland. I know it's going to be in the Bronx, so you got the advantage there. They got to come to you, most likely, unless the Yankees fall off with all these injuries. They could possibly get the second wild card. But you better hope that it's Oakland because Oakland doesn't have a dominating pitcher. They don't have a really, huge lineup. Houston has all the huge players right in their lineup, and they got Justin Verlander, one of the top 5 or 6 pitchers in the game. So in a one-game playoff, that's always a big thing, right? When you want that stud pitcher.
Right. And right now, the Yankees are 4.5 games ahead of Oakland. So yeah, the game would be in the Bronx
as of now. But you better. If I'm a Yankee fan, which I'm not, you're not. You don't want to be facing Justin Verlander. That guy's a stud. He's a Hall of Famer.
Right, exactly. So, the Mets aren't in it.
The Mets have actually been playing better lately. Ever since I went to Vegas, maybe I should stay there.
Maybe, yeah. The Mets are 58-71.
Yeah, but they've actually been decent. The second baseman they called up, guy's batting like 340. The Mets have been. They've been playing decent lately, but when I got to talk about them, we don't want to piss off the Yankee fans.
Yeah, right. But you know what? Listen, if the Yankees be in the wild card, I'm going to support them. I'll support them. I'm going to support them. It's a New York team. I'm going to support them. So, there we go.
That'll be good for our show.
Yeah, perfect for the show. Great for the show. Yankees fans, come on, subscribe. Let's go.
So, Sim, of course, we could never have one of these shows without talking Knicks. I know that everybody, that watches your show, for God's sakes, is called Nothing But Knicks. So let's talk a little Knicks. Let's talk a little bit about the preseason. Let's start with that.
Yeah. Well, obviously, like you said, we got to talk about the preseason because there's not much going on right now. I do expect, though, I expect 2 things to happen before we get to the preseason. Well, at least one thing. Joakim Noah I believe is going to be stretched. I think that's going to happen before we get to the preseason.
Yep.
And maybe something with Courtney Lee. Maybe a trade. Maybe Courtney Lee gets moved.
What are you hoping for Courtney Lee? Second round pick?
Yeah, maybe second round pick. Maybe a young player. Maybe a young guy that can play in the G League or something like that. If Scott Perry is really good, maybe he can find a way to get a team to absorb Courtney Lee's contract.
Well, that's what I think they're trying to do, right? So they clear up space.
Yeah.
But I actually love Courtney Lee. I just don't think he fits this team. But I like him as a player. But he doesn't. He's too old. He doesn't fit the team right now.
Yeah. He's too old. He's 32 years old. And looking at Courtney Lee, looking at his career, I think he averages like 12 points per game for his career, somewhere around there. He's a decent defender. He belongs on a team that's in contention.
Yeah, I think he can help. I think he can help a lot of contending teams. Be that nice guy off the bench, that two-way player. I like him as a potential 6th, 7th man off the bench for a good team.
Yeah, I think just to be fair to him, I know I get people say, well, it's all business. We don't worry about what he's doing with his career, but I don't think that's the way that you operate. If you're a front office, you try to help out your guys, your players, try to help them get into good positions. But that's what I expect to happen before the preseason begins. And then when the preseason begins, I'm really just looking for the Knicks to establish some sort of culture, some sort of chemistry during the preseason. That'll just tell people this is the way that we intend to play. That's really I don't have any expectations for that.
What I'm looking forward to in the preseason is getting to see the young pups play, whether it be Knox, Ntilikina, Robinson. I'm really excited to see what they do with Ntilikina because a lot of people don't know. They don't know if he's going to just be the point guard, if he's going to play some two. I'd like to see how they use him in the preseason. That's interesting to me. Yeah,
that's going to be interesting. By the way, Ntilikina decided not to play with his French national team. So
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So he can stay home and work out with his teammates here in New York. So I was kind of excited to see him play. I like you got to play to gain that experience. You got to play, but I do understand it.
I actually like that he came back because I think it builds chemistry with the team, right? Because they're all young kids. You got a new coach. Mm-hmm. So I actually like that he did that. I get what you're saying, though. You want him to gain as much experience as he possibly can. He's still only, 19 years old, 20 years old? Right. So I get that aspect, too. But I like the fact that he's coming back and they're starting to build some chemistry with the team that they got in place.
Yeah. So that's good. I guess, you can't lose either way for Frank. You know what I mean? The team wins because, like you said, he's building that chemistry. I want to talk about the season opener. Although it's soon, we haven't even gotten to the preseason yet. I want to talk about the season opener versus the Hawks. Trae Young, a guy that a lot of New Yorkers wanted the Knicks to draft. Obviously, Trae Young didn't fall to that spot, but I know there were a lot of New Yorkers that wanted the Knicks to draft Trae Young. We're going to have a chance to go watch the Knicks play the Hawks in the season opener.
That's a good team to play week first game because I think they could win that game. Trae Young, what did you think of him? I was not a fan of his. I was very happy when the Knicks didn't draft him. I don't think he's going to be much in the pros, but what do you think?
He's not Stephen Curry. He may play that type of game, but he's not Stephen Curry. I think that he is... I think he's a good ball player, and I think he can have a decent NBA career. I don't know if he's going to be the star that some people think he might be, but I think that, he'll have a pretty good NBA career, especially if he can pick it up on the defensive end. He's got to get stronger, right? He's got to bulk up a little bit, get a little bit stronger. Not so much that he can't move on the floor, that he can't utilize his lateral quickness, but, bulk up so he can play defense on those other guards.
You know what scares me with him a little bit? He reminds me, and I hope he's better. I'm not rooting against the guy. He reminds me a lot of Jimmer Fredette. He reminds me of that type of player from college, that guy that was that huge scorer, the 30-point guy, the small guy, didn't quite have a jump shot like Steph Curry does. Fredette had a very good jump shot, but not like a Steph Curry type jump shot. Right. And then he transitioned to the NBA as an undersized shooting guard who plays the point, and he didn't do well. So I think I hope not, but I think that's what scared me when the Knicks were drafting. That's why they didn't want him.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get a chance to see him play.
Yeah.
October 17th. You're going to be joining us. I know there's a bunch of Knicks fans from the chat, from the NBK chat, that's going to be joining us at the season opener. It's going to be.
I can't wait.
It's going to be fun. We have a lounge.
We're gonna actually get to do this in person. I'm gonna get to see you in person.
We're gonna get to do it in person. That's gonna be, and we're gonna get to meet a bunch of people in person. We'll have a pregame shoot around. We'll get to go down courtside and check it out. The pregame shoot around. We'll get a tour of the Garden. So it's gonna be fun. And there are tickets still available if anyone is interested in purchasing those tickets. Just check.
Who's Mark? I talked to Who's Mark. He's gonna be there.
He's gonna be there.
And you said CK2K might be there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It depends. He's coming all the way from California, so we'll see how that goes. Tony Crow should be there. Isaiah. Isaiah should be there.
Is Isaiah gonna bring the pudding?
I hope so. Bring some pudding pops. Viv is gonna be there.
I like Viv.
So that's gonna be fun. It's really gonna be fun. So hopefully, we still have some tickets left. They're going though. There's still a few tickets left. People can purchase them. Check the link in the description if you want to purchase those tickets. So there we go. Season opener. It's coming. The Knicks are coming. We're witnessing a rebirth, I believe. I think we're witnessing a rebirth of the team, the mentality, everything.
I'm really looking forward to this year. I like we always say, we're not expecting playoffs, but I think it's going to be a very fun year for the young kids to grow, and I'm really looking forward to it. And it starts October 17th, so hopefully you guys come there with us.
Well, Entertainer, I'm glad you made it back safe from Las Vegas, able to come back and join us on the show. Barely. That can't be good news if you barely.
No, it was good news. It was good news.
But what do you got coming up?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun week for me. I'm starting my collaboration with Jet Central. I'm going to go on his channel. We're doing it's not just Jets and Giants. We're going to talk about the NFL as a whole. I'm previewing some games for week 1. So that's going to be really fun. I love that guy. Also going to be doing a collaboration over with Rover Sports, another Giants channel. So that should be fun. I love doing collaborations. You get to meet new people. It's a lot of fun. So that's going to be fun. And then, of course, I'm always going to have my weekly Nick episode and probably 1 or 2 Giant episodes. I'm going to start doing a little more football content as football's getting into the fold.
Okay.
What about yourself?
That's good. Well, of course, I got the streams, 3 times a week. I'm working on some of these other projects that hopefully will be done within the next few weeks. And then, of course, like we just discussed, we got the season opener coming, but that's not coming until October 17th. But, those tickets are available right now.
They're available in case you didn't know. They're available.
But, I'm just going to be doing my regular stream and working on a few side projects that I hope to get out very soon. One of the side projects, I don't think I've told anyone. I'm working on a cartoon strip.
Really? What's that about?
Guy. It's just going to be about the Knicks.
Okay, that sounds fun.
Cartoon strip about the Knicks. Kind of like comics, like your comic section. So it's not going to be animated. It's going to be like slides going across the screen, and you'll see it. It should be good. Hopefully, it gets a good review.
I'm looking forward to it.
So that should be fun. Yeah, but Entertainer, it's always a pleasure.
Let me tell you something. You are my favorite YouTubers, no doubt about it. I love doing this show, and I'm really looking forward to when it becomes live, when we have that fantasy football draft. That should be a lot of fun too.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's right. When you guys sign up for this fantasy football league with NBNY, the draft is going to be live, and that's going to be our first live viewing, and then we plan on going live thereafter. So make sure you join up to the league and help us break down the walls on the live stream with NBNY.
And please subscribe.
Exactly. Subscribe to the channel. I'm out of here, Entertainer. Peace.